You're listening to Let's Do Together Anime Break, the sub-series of Let's Do Together where we talk about the 2019 anime Fruits Basket. I'm Ellen.
And I'm Kayla.
Oh, I just hit my microphone in my face.
You can't be trusted with this much space.
No, I know, I'm treating myself to recording outside of the closet today because it's fucking hot. And now I'm just running into stuff. It's fine, I'll get used to it. We're discussing Season 2, Episode 15 today, which is called See You Later. Bye. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening. We're going to do our summary, spoiler-free discussion, then spoiler discussion like we do every time. It's going to be a good time. This episode covered chapters 71 and 72 of the manga, and we covered this content in our podcast episode number 37, which was called A Result I Can Be Proud of. Yay.
Yay.
This episode opens at school. Yuki apologizes to great teacher Mayuko for his mother for scheduling his parent-teacher conference. With a pat on the shoulder, she says it's fine, and she'll see him then. Toru steps out of the classroom and sees Yuki looking down and asks what's going on. He tells her about his mother changing the date, but it's already a miracle that she's coming anyway. Toru remembers Akito at the beach telling her that the Junichi will all return and remain unchanging. And she tells Yuki that the conference is meant for him to talk about his own future. So please, Yuki, you can do your best, she says. She also remembers Akito telling her not to meddle in things, and she's like, I'll do my best to meddle, and Yuki's like, huh? And then we cut to the credits.
Classic Toru.
I enjoyed it very much, yes. At school, Uo discusses her future with her dad and Mayuko. Mayuko asks if she's interested in any job in particular, and she thinks back to Toru suggesting becoming a model and says as such, and Mayuko's like, well, don't just decide in the moment. Hana, too, has her meeting with her mom, and as for her goals, she simply hopes that she'll be able to graduate, and her mom is like, stay strong, Saki! Did you notice that on her papers?
Yes.
First choice, escape to a foreign country. Second choice, train to be a housewife.
It's more entertaining because, like, at first I thought she had written that down, but later it implies that Mayu is the only one writing on these.
Yeah, they're like
forms.
Mayuko's notes. Yes.
Yeah.
Because later when in Toru, she like circles the thing. So yeah, I guess it's like, this is what they said in their verbal discussion, I guess.
Yeah. And she's just like, okay, I'll just write that down rather than say anything.
Yeah. She's just like, whatever.
It's not worth arguing.
Meanwhile, in the hallway, girls are squeeing about the hottie who's visiting with Toru. Maya-chan sensei might fall for him, they say, and it turns out that it's Shigure Soma that they're referring to. Maiko's grunt and grimace at his arrival is indeed just what Shigure was hoping to see. As they take their seats with the brightest and fakest possible smile, Mayuko thanks Shigure for coming. You're so thoughtful, she says. And with an equally fake and sparkling smile, Shigure says, haha, not at all. I just did what anyone would do, and somehow through all the pleasantries an icy wind seems to blow from where Shigure and Mayuko are sitting on their side of the table. Mayuko asks about Toru's plans to work straight away. She confirms that she doesn't want any further education. She remembers the promise she made to her mother. Mayuko asks if she'll be leaving Soma-san's, as she calls Shigure's house, after graduation, and Toru confirms this too. Why not become my wife then? He suggests, and Toru was like, Mayuko face palms, and Shigure says that people keep telling him to settle down. That won't do, Mayuko says, slapping on a fake smile again. A proposal is important to a woman, so don't ask so casually. That might be why you can't get married. What's this? Are you the type who still idealizes marriage proposals, sensei? You'll waste away your marriageable years like that, Shigure says. The ice storm between them seems to blow stronger. What is this diamond dust? Toru wonders, and Mayuko snaps her out of her icy thoughts and tells her that there's still time for Toru to reconsider her plans if she wants. With a soft smile, she also tells Toru, don't try to bear everything by yourself. Shigure has to speak to Mayuko alone, and Mayuko grimaces, and Toru is like, but the diamond dust! And Shigure is like, you're not making any sense, and pats her head. Toru then excuses herself, and after she leaves, Shigure says that he's fallen for Mayuko again after seeing her teacher's side, and she's like, you're just here to spite me. You're even wearing a Tory suit. And he's like, bingo, I'm surprised you recognized it. Must be the power of stubborn love. He reminds her that if she and Toru get married, they'll be related, which is of course a horrifying thought to Mayuko. She has something to say about Toru. You need to treat her with more care. She's reasonable, but she can't bear everything herself. I can't tell you how much you know, Shigure says. A relative told me the same thing, and he remembers Rin asking if people are just things to him. Whatever it seems, I'm treating her with exceptional care, despite being me. I meant you at your core, Mayuko says, and he's like, impossible. You can't expect more with my personality. It's not even my job in the first place. Mayuko glares. You're probably not kind to those who you love, either. Huh. Shigure smiles a wry smile. Honda, please don't figure out what this guy is really like, she says, and Shigure is like, hey, you talk like an evil incarnate. Outside, Hana and Uo find Toru spacing out. She tells him that she's worried about the future, but thinks, no, it's not that, and thinks of her mom leaving her alone as a child, of her mother dying, and of Kyo. Those thoughts get closed into a box that disappears into dark water.
The lid.
the lid. Just close the lid. Uo says that she's worried about the future too, and Hana, too, was asked to graduate. Dude, that's the minimum expectation, Uo says. They tell her not to overthink things. It's a waste of the present moment. Toru remembers Shigure giving her the similar advice. You're right. It's like somen, right? Toru says, and Uo's like, is that a joke? And Toru explains that it was something that Shigure said before. Take a break and eat somen once in a while with your friends. She says that she feels better. Uo tells her not to trust the writer. That one's pretty black inside. He's twisted, but the words have no effect on Toru's perception of him. Hana notices Shisho coming in with Kyo. Toru says that it's Kyo's dad, and Uo's like, seriously, they don't really look alike. He's so handsome, Hana says, and Toru and Uo are like, huh? I like how she says nothing for like 2 seconds, or like for like a whole minute, and then that's what she says. It's great. Inside the classroom, Mayuko counsels that Kyo should have a general idea of what he wants to do with his life. He struggles to talk about it. Shisho jumps in and says it's hard to imagine him as a college student or a working adult, and they chuckle about it. After the meeting, Shisho says that adults have no right to tell their children what to do, just the right to worry about them. Think it over. It's fine if it takes you twice as long as others. I want to know your answer, he says to Kyo.
Shisho's best dad.
He is the best dad. It's the best possible answer that anyone could give. Such little time left, Kyo thinks. Then he thinks of Toru. I want to be by your side. I can't think of anything other than that. Uo suddenly lobs her shoe at Kyo's face and he catches it out of the air before it hits him. Toru claps wildly and Uo is like, you're just Kyo! I can't believe that you had the nerve to catch that. Jerk Uotani, he says. Uo says they're headed to Shigure's for a somen party and Kyo smiles warmly. At home in the evening, the kids prepare somen. Yuki's like, Hanajima-san likes Shihan? I'm unsure of how I feel about having an older child, she says. And Kyo grumps at the table and Uo pats his back. That'll work itself out, right? She says, and then slaps him.
Like aggressive, reassuring
I laughed out loud when she slapped his back at the end. It was like pat, pat, smack. Like, it was wonderful. Yeah. Not so fast, damn it, Kyo says, and Shigure is like, wait, doesn't it matter how Kazuma Dono feels? Kyo looks over at Toru and smiling and thinks, even though nobody knows the answer yet, graduation until that day. We see a flashback to what I assume is slightly earlier, like several days earlier, in the darkened hallway. Yuki talks to his mother on the phone about rescheduling his parent-teacher conference. He remembers living in the main house as a child. As my mother spoke with her usual coldness, all those feelings from the past surge back. I'm sinking. I'm falling, he thinks. Everything turns dark. At school later, it rains. He meets his mother for his parent-teacher conference. Dead-eyed, he remembers begging her to take him away from the Soma house as a child. I don't like that room. Akito says all these scary things. His mother speaks casually, laughing with another woman who seems to be one of the maids. I want to go home. Mom, help me, Yuki begs. She turns around, pats his head, and says, how wonderful it is that the head of the family is taking a liking to you. Make sure you keep getting along. Okay, bye-bye now. This is the scariest episode thing in all of these episodes that I've seen so far. I was like, oh my god, I can't. In the present, his mother gets out of the car, and Yuki coughs. During Yuki's conference with Mayuko, his mother doesn't want to waste time. Yuki will be continuing his education. She already knows what colleges he'll apply for. He's expected to become a leader in the family in the future. Wait, Yuki says, why did you decide for me? You mean I kindly made these decisions for you? She says. Ma'am, Mayuko says, but his mother doesn't stop. Well, Yuki's mother says, you're not able to decide anything on your own, right? You never had your own opinions. Be quiet if you're just going to be defiant. Ma'am, please stop now, Mayuko says. You're saying something very illogical to your child right now. What do you mean? His mom says with a chuckle. Yuki sweats and struggles to say anything as they go back and forth. His mother goes on to be an asshole to Mayuko, essentially. And he remembers discussing attending school with his mother. She gaslights him about his feelings about hating the Somas, and he remembers again asking her to save him from the main house as a child. Am I your tool? He says, in the memory. What does it matter? She says, and she gets angry and tosses the magazine she's reading down. Enough of this! I've had enough foolishness from Ayame already. The head of the family's taking a liking to you. What more do you want? My words hold no meaning or power and die before reaching you, Yuki thinks, and cries. I remember thinking that, if that was the case, I never wanted to speak again. Fortunately, in the present, Ayame suddenly arrives bearing a large bouquet of roses. Not to worry, Yuki, your brother who holds you most dear now graces you with his presence. Yuki Ayame's mother gets up and screams at him, wanting to know what he's doing there. Ayame ignores her and gives Mayuko the roses. I offer these with respect, he says, and Mayuko's like, thank you. Tapping on the table with his hand, he demands, let us begin the conference at once. And their mother is furious. Ayame says, would you be quiet? We must discuss precious Yuki's future. I didn't realize that Mom was so bad at handling Ayame, Yuki thinks, while Mayuko sniffs a rose and waits for the drama to subside. His mother protests that Ayame didn't care about Yuki before. I can depend on him, Yuki says. He may be ridiculous sometimes, but he's not useless. Ayame whips out his phone to let Tori know. Yuki stops him. Not to worry, I'll send a text, Ayame says. Their mother wonders when they got so close. Ayame says Yuki gave him a second chance. You're like how I used to be, he says, not realizing how much you've trampled on things precious to you. Deeply offended, their mother heads for the door. I wish I'd never given birth to you two, she screams angrily and leaves. Yuki remembers Toru saying, please do your best, and goes to talk to his mother. He thanks Ayame for coming to the meeting. Ayame starts to narrate his text to Tori, and Mayuko says that she didn't think he'd make it once the date was changed. He says that Shigure told him about it. They discuss Yuki and Ayame's mother. It's Ayame's failure that causes his mother's expectations to fall on Yuki, he says. But he said he could depend on you, Mayuko says, and Ayame smiles a bright smile. Yuki catches up with his mother in the hallway and tells her to wait. He grabs her shoulder and wonders, was she always this small? And he thinks about how she deserted him at the main house in the past. She says that his life is going to be a waste if he continues like this. I'm alive in this world, Yuki says, and I want to be part of it. I need to put in the effort. I want to put in the effort. The end result may not be something that you approve of, but to me, it will be something that I can be proud of. So please don't decide what my life will be. I'll continue my education, but I'll decide where I apply on my own. His mother leaves without saying anything more, and Yuki breathes a sigh of relief. He sees Toru standing in the hallway. She's been waiting for him. Now suddenly runs up from behind him in the other direction and says the student council's been looking for him. He grabs Yuki's hand and pulls him away, and as they pass Toru, they both smile. See you later, Yuki says to her. See you later, she says. Toru unties the ribbon that she's wearing, the one that Yuki gave her at the onsen. The lingering chilly wind, after the rain clears, means that winter's on its way, she narrates. But the warmth in my chest proves that the light surely burns. Even though it's so tiny that it might go out with a slight puff of air, it surely burns. And then we cut to the end credits. But after the credits, in the student council room, Kimi stares in awe. Kakeru grabs Ayame and praises him as the one born to be the commander of the school defense force. I may do just that, Ayame says with a chuckle. Nao shakes with rage and says, do something about him, to Yuki. Machi peers in the doorway behind them, then silently slides away. Mayuko chats with Tori on the roof. He says sorry for the trouble, and she says, you have it rough all the time. And that's the end of the episode.
I was about to be outraged when we cut to the credits without this scene.
I think I had seen... No. I hadn't seen anything from it before I watched it. I was just, like, writing furiously. This was, like, an hour ago. Yeah. So I was like, okay, episode's done. And then I was going through the credits, went through the credits listening for the next episode. And I was like, oh, yay!
Yeah. I was like, how dare.
How dare they remove my scenes with my two favorite characters? How dare.
I love Machi just noping out
that was
as soon as she comes in.
I don't remember if she was even... I don't think she was even in that...
I think you see her just kind of like against the wall.
There. Yeah.
But like the animation of her like coming in and then just immediately sliding back out of frame.
I know, it's wonderful. I agree with those feels. I feel like I am that person. It's like you kind of come to a room and things are happening. You're just like, bye. Yeah. Just say nothing. Yeah, noping out. Oh, it's wonderful. I like how when Ayame came in, their mom just like jumped away. Also, like she was like, I don't know. Yeah.
I just like how they had like a single rose petal fall to the floor, like announcing his presence before the camera turned around. Yeah. Yeah. It's like as the door opens, like a rose petal falls down. Like you just see like his feet and the petal before he starts talking.
Ayame always has a dramatic introduction that normally starts with his feet. I don't know why that is, but yes. Okay, let's discuss. So I want to just go through in order because we have. I feel like we don't get to talk about Uo and Hana that much, other than like Uo and Convenience Store Man. But they get this little moment here where they get to talk about their future. So I love how Hana. I think we kind of talked about it already, but Hana has these like she's like, I just want to graduate. Yeah. Set the bar low.
Yeah. They're all like talking about like pressures and anxiety in the future. She's like, yeah, people want me to graduate. They're like, dude.
I love the way they translated. I don't remember how it was in the manga, but I loved how it was like, dude, that's the minimum. Like,
yeah.
The lines was really funny. I forgot that they Toru. I remember they go and have like dinner, or they go food together, but like. And the scene where they're talking about Hana liking Shisho. But I forgot that Toru was like, yeah, Somen. And Uo was like, is that a joke? Like, yeah. But yeah, and then Uo it's cute that remember we have seen from the past that she didn't have a good relationship with her dad before, so now like her dad is there, and she's like, oh, I'm like worried about his salary and whatever, and he's like, hey, which is funny, but yeah, it's sweet that she's concerned, right?
Yeah, it's cute. They seem to have a decent relationship right now.
Yeah, it seems like.
Because she even says, like, that, like, he's, like, you know, telling her to like think more seriously about her future and stuff. And so like, which she says in like a casual way that seems like he's not like like it's not like a bad thing. It's just like a normal parent thing. Like,
yeah, not like Yuki's mom.
Yeah.
But she says when she wants to be a model or whatever.
Yeah.
Because that's what Toru told her after Kyo's. I like how Kyo like inceptioned that.
Yeah.
Like we saw, I think it was last episode where they're walking along and he's like, what does she want to be so tall for? And she want to be a model? And Toru's like, that'd be great.
I feel like years later he's gonna like turn on the TV and she's gonna be there and he's gonna be like, I've made a mistake.
He'll turn on the TV and see an ad for like toilet paper and it'll be her. Or she'll become like a famous supermodel. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that in another? Well, never. I don't know. Anyway, but they're cute, so they get their little moments, and they reassure Toru. Toru's again reestablishing her commitment to working after school, but she has this after the conference. She has the sort of like that dark memory of her mom and her mom. The one we saw in the last episode of her mom leaving, and then also her mom dying, and then also Kyo kind of wrapped all up in that together. Her fear of abandonment, I guess. Which is kind of interesting because, like, I guess in the last episode Kyo was also included in that, like after that, right? I forget. Yeah,
I think he kind of like became included in it by the fact that he came to her after, like, she was freaking out, and so I think that probably kind of combined everything in her mind a little bit because, like, we know she has all these anxieties about her mom that we're still don't have the full picture of, but it's like starting to come to light, and we know she's now knows about Kyo being locked away after graduation, so that's starting to become something she's worrying about. So him showing up at that time helped to kind of wrap them all up into one big messy anxiety ball,
quote unquote, helped. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, one big anxiety ball. And we got the same imagery of the box with the lid kind of closing on those memories and then like disappearing down into the dark water. I feel like we've seen the same imagery before, but not like this, where it's like Toru like almost like trying to purposely like close up those feelings in a box. I
think we've seen like the box at the bottom of the sea or whatever, but
bury your feelings with the bottom of the sea. It'll definitely work. That's how it works.
Find the box that's anxiety and crush it.
Turn It Off is a great song. That's exactly the metaphor. Yes. That's her, I don't know, that's kind of her deal. We're seeing it evolve more and more. It started at the beach when she was thinking about her mom, and now it's sort of expanded to kind of like...
It started with Hiro being a little jerk.
Yeah. The little dick. And then I think it started before that when, because like she's always had...
Yeah, I think it's always been there, but like that comment is the first thing that made her really start to consciously think about it, and now she's having trouble putting it back in the box, as it were.
It's really a catalyst. Like all the time before, after her mom died, I think she was just focused on like, just like making it
getting
through.
by. Yeah.
I mean, she lived in a fucking tent. Let's not forget. Like, and trying to just get through the day, and now it seems like enough time has passed that like she's starting to think about some of those feelings, and then all of her like relationship with the Somas are also stirring that up, like especially Kyo and his how he'll be confined. We're going down the dark path. I mean, I guess we have been all this time, but Toru's
it's a romance comedy.
Yeah, that's right. Everyone's turning into animals, and it's cute. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It's my favorite romance comedy. Then we have so there's the scene after with there's what Kyo. We should talk about Kyo's, and then we'll talk about Yuki's, because the rest of the episode kind of revolves around Yuki.
Yeah.
So of course Kyo isn't able to really think about what he should do in his future because he's gonna be confined. So it doesn't really make, at least as far as he thinks, I think.
Yeah.
It seems like Shisho has other plans, but Shisho doesn't act like that's going to happen, I guess. I mean, I think he's determined not to make that happen, but
yeah. And like we know Kyo thinks like this, but I think the way he like talks in that scene, it's like it's obvious that like he can't even like comprehend the idea of like thinking about a future for himself. Like
yeah,
like he's very like future.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's that word?
Yeah. It's like he doesn't even. Yeah, he can't really think about it, and he like almost deliberately chooses not to, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like in this meeting, he's like, he doesn't even really know what to say. He's not even like, oh, I haven't thought about it, or I'm not sure. It's just like nothing, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's really sweet how like Kazuma and Mayu obviously like both realize like how freaked out he is about the idea and kind of like change the subject.
Yeah, like she shows like, oh, it's hard to imagine him like what he's gonna do after school, and she just like chuckles and rolls with it, which is nice actually. Great teacher Maiko is a great teacher.
Yeah, we don't see her like being a teacher very much, but these scenes like really show that she's a really good teacher because like she's obviously like very open and understanding to like the different circumstances all the kids are in, and it's like encouraging them to think about their future but not putting too much pressure on them, and being like, you still have time to change your mind. And
yeah, I love the way that she counsels all of them, like especially Toru and then later Yuki, because she's super sassy to Yuki's mom, which always makes me smile because she fucking deserves it. But
yeah,
she's like, can you not? Like, you're being an asshole to your child.
Yeah.
Well, at least with Toru, she's like, I'm sure she's aware of Toru's like circumstances, so she's like, you still have time, and like you can get scholarships and stuff. Like, you don't have to not have a further education because you're in this situation. So that's nice. And also, it's not set in stone.
Yeah, it's like just a nice of like making sure they know they have other options, but not like trying to pressure them into like what she thinks would be better or whatever for them. She's like, okay, we'll go with what you're saying for now, but keep your mind open. There's other options. You don't have to commit.
We'll go with escape to a foreign country for now.
Yes.
Yes, that's very nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then of course, we said Cosmo gets Best Dad award for being like, it's not. I always like appreciated this line when we read it through this time, where he's like, it's not parents like right to tell their kids what to do, but it is their right to worry about them, which is cute. He's like, I don't really care. Just like, I want you to make the decision for yourself. Like, I don't care how long it takes. You don't have to know right now. But
yeah,
it's very sweet. It's good dad.
Yeah, it's a nice.
Apparently, smexy dad. Because
yes.
Sorry, you were gonna say something sweet.
Yeah. I was just gonna say it's I think Kazuma, like us seeing Kazuma's like conversation with Kyo is just a really good contrast to everything with Yuki's mom later on.
Yes.
It's like the complete opposite of that. Like,
yeah. I know. Well, I guess good segue. Let's talk about Yuki's mom.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we could talk about. I mean, they just have the little thing where they make food, and then I love how Yuki's like, "What, Hanajima, like Shihan," which is always really cute to me. It's like when he was so his delicate sensibilities were offended when he saw Rin and Haru kissing. That scene always makes me chuckle too. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was how they're all like talking about it like it's a set thing.
Yes.
And like Shigeru's the one who's like, doesn't Cosmo get a say in this?
No. Again, I really enjoyed just like slapping him on the back.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that we haven't really seen too much of it until this episode lately with like Uo and Kyo's like weird aggressive friendship.
Yes. We haven't seen them very much lately because it was all like beach and like other Soma family and tour stuff. Like we haven't seen Uo and Hana that much, and also student council. Like they're not in those episodes very much either, right? So,
yeah. So you have that like the backslapping and her like throwing her shoe at him for no reason and being offended that he caught it.
Yes. I love how she's like, "You're just Kyo. How dare you?" It's so wonderful.
And he just like grumbles that she's a jerk and then like doesn't do anything else about it.
Yes. So it's good. Let's talk about Yuki and all his sad things in this episode.
Yeah.
There's like this running theme throughout. It starts with Yuki remembering again, like his because it kind of like opens with him apologizing to Maiko about his mom rescheduling, then that kind of gets pushed aside for a bit, and then all during the second half of the episode, he remembers the initial conversation, I guess, on the phone. So it seems like it goes back a little bit, and then he remembers all the times I think we've seen him confined in the main house. They show it in more and more detail in these recent episodes, I think.
Yeah, we've definitely seen stuff about him being like locked in the room, because like even in the like the Rin and Haru episode had the whole like framing of
that's right,
like Haru sneaking in to visit him. And
that's right. Yeah, right. We've seen Akito be like saying like the world is. I'm trying to remember exactly what during the beach arc there he had these memories where Akito was like, the world is there's you don't have a reason to hope for anything or whatever, and
yeah, he had that kind of like stuff. That like don't misunderstand. Or
yes,
that he said. Yeah,
exactly. So that's what he was telling his mom, trying to tell his mom about to get her to help him, and when she turns around and she's like, "Oh, isn't it great that the head of the family likes you?" I was like, "This is like the, this is like, I don't know." It was really freaky to me.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, because like he's explicitly like begging for help. Like it's not even like a thing you could in any way think like, oh, she just didn't get what he was saying. It's like he's explicitly saying like, I want to go home, Mom, help me, and she's just like, oh, it's so nice that you get along.
Yeah,
bye.
Like,
yeah.
What? Yeah, see you later. And just like trying to straight up like, I don't know, it's just like denial. It's like beyond gaslighting.
Yeah, and like the animation of her like patting him on the head is like pushing him away. Like
yes. He also remembers the time later when he's talking about applying to the high school, and he's like, I've always hated the Somas, and she's like, what are you even talking about? Like trying to again like keep gaslighting him. And he says like, my words don't reach you, and like I just if it doesn't mean anything, then I like would never want to speak again or something like that.
Yeah,
depressing.
I think there's some really nice like effects in the anime that they did to like show how like Yuki's feelings of like isolation and panic with regard to like his mom and his memories here. Like even just like when it ended the first phone call with his mom, it had that like loud dial tone for a couple seconds.
He's just like holding the phone.
Afterward, yeah, he's just like holding the phone. It just had that like loud dial tone, which just like for a couple of seconds before it transitions, and like the way the like while he's like panicking and struggling to say something, but like can't do it, and how that like the table seems to like stretch out, and it like keeps flashing to his face and everything. Like I think it did a really good job of like getting his like just panic across.
His anxiety about the situation does come across very clearly. That the scene where the table is stretching, it's like, yeah, it goes back and forth between like what his mom and his Mayuko are like arguing, and his mom and his Mayuko, is that what I said?
Yes.
His mom and Mayuko are arguing about, and then back and forth to him where it's like him in his head, and then them and the table kind of like stretching, like it's like out of reach for him almost too. He keeps being like, say what you're thinking, like try to say what you want to say and stuff. And then but like even when his mom shows up, his eyes are like, it's sort of that dead-eyed expression, and then when after the memory and she gets out of the car, he does a little like cough, because if you remember, if you have been watching for a while and maybe don't remember, but he has like asthma. He had asthma as a child, so it seems like it's like something that happens when he's stressed. Yeah,
I've always thought that was a nice detail.
Yeah,
I'm glad they kept it in the anime.
Yeah, just a little cough. And the tension starts to rise.
Yeah, because like they talk about how like it's gotten better as he's gotten older, but like those are the kind of things that like stress can like bring it back on. And so it's just kind of a nice little indication of like how bad this is for him.
Yeah.
Especially since we've spent like a lot of this season focusing on him.
Yes.
Like, taking chances and growing as a person and everything. So it's kind of like that thing where like sometimes if like people had bad childhoods, if their like parent comes back, they can like instantly revert to that like feeling of helplessness. And so,
for sure. But it also gives him a new perspective on her when Ayame comes too, and when he catches up with her later, where he's like, was she always this small? Like, like the perspective of growing up is that you realize that your parents are also just people, as opposed to being super like powerless against them or whatever, right?
Yeah, because he like even talks about that, like when he's saying like, was she always this small? He said like the feeling of like when he was little and felt like he got abandoned by her. He said like he felt like that was the end of the world, because your mom, your parents are like the most important things in your life for your childhood. least they're supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah, they should be. But like it's funny how he also is like she can't control Ayame and like
Yeah, I like the specific phrasing they used in the anime of this translation of like was she always this bad at handling Ayame?
mm-hmm.
Because like we've part of like Yuki and Ayame's thing has been like Yuki is like like learning to deal with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like like as a person, like they're learning to feel like they figured each other out,
yes.
which is like something that their mom takes notice of. But at least like the phrasing of like, was she always this bad at handling him? Like,
yeah,
he's like, I figured it out.
Yes. It definitely implies that she's very like distant, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I mean, Ayame also like chastises her for being like, Yuki is like this because, or like our relationship is like this because Yuki gave me a second chance, and you haven't tried to, like take advantage of that, basically.
Yeah.
So, it's like he said like you're trampling on the things that are precious to you.
Mm-hmm.
Trampling on things that are precious, maybe not to her, but
yeah,
I would argue that at least.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're able to get along because they take the time. She obviously doesn't care about either of them. I mean, that's why she doesn't really understand Ayame either. She just like writes him off. That's the implication. Yeah. So, but yeah, but Ayame came in the end, and I think
saved the day.
Saved the day. I think also gave him the confidence to go after his mom too. Like he was able to speak up not about himself, but about Ayame and kind of defend him actually to his mom. It's like, yeah, he's kind of weird, but
yeah, it kind of gave it like a step of distance that allowed him to like start talking, because he's like he's like, I can't make myself defend myself, but I can defend Ayame.
Mm-hmm.
And then like that makes him able to get the confidence together to say what he needs to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And after she runs away too, or like she leaves too, then it's the same. Like he kind of has a bit of the upper hand in the conversation, right? He's not the one who like ran off, like
yeah.
So he can talk about how he feels and like let her know that he's going to make his own decisions in life and stuff. And she just has no reply and leaves. So
yeah,
a successful conference ?
Yeah.
I do like how Ayame brings her flowers.
Yeah.
He did make the joke in the anime that he asked Yuki, he said that he was going to come to Yuki's conference and asked if he should bring flowers before, and
I think so, yeah. I love him being like the speech about like, it's like for being like a good educator and like giving Yuki the fantasy of having a female teacher or whatever, and she's just like, yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Well, they know each other, as stated, right? So, and it's even implied that they colluded in him coming to the conference as well. So
yeah, I think I think it was fairly clear in the manga, but I think their conversation here makes it clear that they're kind of friends. Like,
yes. Well, didn't they say a long time ago that when Ayame brought the photos of the wedding to the beach house that he got them from Mayuko?
Yeah.
So we know that. I mean, and we saw her in the background of the main house and stuff too. So pretty sure this is the same Mayuko if it hasn't been stated explicitly already.
Yeah, it's like I think we knew they were like in contact because we had the whole flashback with when she was quote unquote dating Shigure.
Right.
But I think this makes it clear that they're like still kind of, they seem to get along still. Like,
yes.
And are in contact with each other.
Oh yeah, that's right. We already had that episode, the Tori Mayuko one. Yes. Yeah. Right. I like how she talks to Tori on the phone after too. That's separate.
Yeah. So like you see Ayame's phone, it is like an extremely long text that he's sending.
Yes, there was a little translation of part of the text too. I didn't include it, but it was hilarious. I like how he starts to type in, he's like, my dearest Tori-san, or something like that. Like when he's right before they start their conversation. It's really funny. It's like, don't narrate.
And it also looks like there's like another really long text that he's already sent and has gotten no reply.
I'm sure that's the norm.
Yeah, and Tori just looks at it and is like,
He's like, I'll read this later.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the episode, then she's there talking to Tori too, which is hilarious. It's cute though. They have the little separate conversation, Maiko and Ayame do, about Ayame talks about their mother and how she's, kind of mean, and how his failures have caused her to put her hopes of whatever it is that she wants onto Yuki. And Maiko's like, well, but he said you were reliable, and we have this like great like smile from Ayame, like, it clearly means a lot to him that Yuki
yeah
does care about him and recognizes his his efforts and to be a good brother and stuff.
Yeah, that's always been one of my favorite panels in the manga, is like when that like obviously just delighted smile.
It clearly means a lot to him.
Yeah, because it's like almost like it's like a genuinely happy smile, not like his normal like bombastic smile. It's like like he just kind of like puts his head down and smiles. It's cute.
Yeah, it's almost like satisfied, like all the like connection that he's been trying to make has meant something,
Yeah.
Because I think he was kind of unsure for a while. There's these episodes, like things that he said before, where he's like, he seems kind of like frustrated, like as if they're not getting along, like when Yuki went to visit him before at his shop and stuff. And it's not really about that, it's just that they need to learn more about each other and get closer, right? So
Yeah.
he's good brother. Ayame, best brother? Question mark.
There's not that many to compare to, I guess. So.
Yeah.
He's a better brother than most of the parents are parents, so.
He's basically a substitute parent for Yuki, so.
Yeah.
At this point.
So I came to the parent-teacher conference.
Yeah, to confer about his child, Yuki.
Yes.
And then, so after the parent-teacher conference, after Yuki goes and talks to his mother, then he sees Toru, who's been waiting in the hallway, and looking concernedly at him. But then before he can go and talk to her, now from the student council comes up and like sweeps him away. And then we get he says like, I think it's just translated as "see you later" or whatever, but he says, so like I'm going, and Toru's like, I'll be waiting for you to return home, right? Like that's what they say. It was very sweet. And she had his like ribbon. That is the ribbon that he gave her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the lacy one from the hot spring trip and way back in season 1.
Yeah. It's a nice little callback.
It's cute. And she is holding it through like the rest of the scene and kind of like clasping it in her hands, which is nice.
Yeah. There's also some nice like visual language going on there too, with like the whole scene, like since Yuki's mom arrived, has been like in the rain and gray and kind of washed out, and then like as he turns and sees Toru, like the sun starts shining through the windows again, and like the colors come back to like kind of their normal saturation.
Yes.
Yeah, on the nose, but it works.
I was like, oh, there's the sun. Yes.
Yep.
Of course. But yeah, it's still nice, and I remember that it was raining in the manga too. I don't remember if the like sun came out at the end, but I guess probably. Yeah,
it's raining, and they show like Yuki's mom like looking up at the sky without having her umbrella up, which like implies that it has stopped raining.
Yeah,
but...
it was similar to this. Yeah. They had the similar scene in the anime too.
But they just use the medium of animation to
make it sunny.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's nice. I like that. And also like at the end where she's narrating, there's like where Toru's narrating, she's kind of like overlaid over the sky, so you get that little effect as well, which I think is nice. Yeah. And then of course, yes, after the credits, there's the scene in the council room where Ayame and baby Ayame, the mini Ayame Kakeru, get to meet for the first time, I guess. I love how Kimi's standing there with her like sparkling and staring at him. It was really funny, and now it's like incensed.
Yeah.
He's like, make this
stop. Done.
Yeah. Yes, and we already talked about Machi just like noping out.
Yeah.
Wonderful, yes.
Yeah, it's like she doesn't even pause. She comes in and immediately slides back out.
I would too.
Yeah. It's like, not my scene.
Nope. And then, the scene at the end with Mayuko on the roof, and that's the end.
Yeah. Yeah. I was prepared to be outraged that they cut that scene.
So it's just like I was prepared to be outraged that they didn't have the Mayuko and Tori episode.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's happening. So far, there's nothing that's been done that disappointed me in this anime at all for the last season and a half, or season and 3/4 ish. Season and 60% of this season.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been good.
They tend to include everything, so and even add stuff sometimes.
Yeah,
it's good. They'll be able to have the Ayame and Kakeru connection.
Yes,
going forward.
You gotta have the commander.
Yeah. He's like, the overarching commander. If Yuki's president, then he's commander.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Is there any other things that you want to talk about that aren't spoilery?
I don't think so.
Okay. Next time we'll talk about episode 16, which is called Ask Him For Me. I already know what it's about, so I'm excited. But it's fine. We'll talk about it in spoilers. All right. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hello. We're back to talk about spoilers. Did you miss me?
Yes.
It's been so long. I think I took a breath.
Yeah, I was going to say it's been approximately 3 seconds.
Yeah, maybe. So, spoilers.
Yes, spoilers.
Well, what I wrote... Oh, I wrote Ayame making. I wonder making what? I wonder what that's supposed to mean. That's fine.
Maybe costumes if they do the play.
Oh, that's not what I meant, but yeah, you're right about that. I think it was just like Ayame making friends with Kakeru, probably. Which is wonderful.
Yeah.
I think we talked in the anime about how in the manga discussion about how they would have like long email chains together, and
yeah.
And I still like to headcanon that's true.
Yeah, I do enjoy that like remains like a thing. Like it doesn't come up very often, but
yeah, it's just in the back.
They're acquainted and know each other from then on.
It's because Yuki and Kakeru have to become BFFs.
Yes.
I like how Ayame, it's like implied that he's getting the inside scoop on the regular since he's also friends with Mayuko and stuff. Mm-hmm. And she told him about the parent-teacher conference and stuff, so I guess she knows a bit about their families. I guess that's not spoilery, but whatever, related.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, because she's like, obviously, like the fact that she's like, oh, I didn't think you'd make it since we changed the date. Like she's obviously expecting him to show up at the original one. So
yes. I like how they have a scheme. Because like Yuki was like, sorry. Originally Yuki was like, oh, Ayame volunteered to do it to Yuki, and Yuki was like, no. But
yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, I guess for spoilers, there's again more student council stuff to come. Always.
Yep.
And they're his friends. They're gonna be his friends that help him grow. That's why they said goodbye.
Yeah.
Cute.
He's leaving the nest.
Like Haru said. Yes.
Yes.
There are other scenes with Yuki and his mom, I think, in the future, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she starts to kind of try.
Yeah. Like she definitely tries to not be an asshole. But I don't think she. I don't know.
She definitely doesn't put in the dedication that Ayame does.
No.
But,
well, most people don't. I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. But we see like she does seem to be like, at least trying not to be a huge, humongous asshole to her child in the future.
Yes. Humongous asshole.
Yeah. I think like one of the main ones we see later is when he like gets the like permission slip for the phone.
Right. Yes. That's right.
And she's just like, this is all you needed, and then like tells him like not to use it wastefully or whatever, and he kind of laughs at her saying such a like classic mother thing
to do.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that Ayame implies, he says like you're treating something like precious. You're like whatever. He describes like basically their relationship as precious, and it's sort of implied to me at least that it's that she, or like what we've seen or the way that Yuki perceives the situation is that she just like sold him off into the family and ignored him, which is true. But like I think what Ayame is saying, I guess, is that it implies that maybe she still cares about Yuki. Like I think the feeling that we get from the manga is that it seems like she doesn't really care, but it seems maybe what he's kind of implying is that she's trying to get him in a good situation in life, and she thinks that that's the right thing to do, even though Yuki, like, she's blatantly ignored everything that Yuki said. Like, I don't know. It's a little bit convoluted, but
yeah,
the way it's translated here just made me think about it a little bit differently this time, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I feel like he may be saying that like it should be precious to you. Like,
maybe, yeah, that's true.
It's like this is like the relationship with your son. It should be something precious to you, and you're trampling all over it instead of like trying to fix things,
using it. But she's like, so what if you're a tool? Like, I don't know. Yeah, and then she says something about Ayame. Like, I don't need Ayame. Ayame's already like, like a fool. I don't need you to be like this too. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's obviously not the right decision, but it seems like she has some kind of good motivation for it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it feels like I feel like she's like one of the kind of people who like likes the idea of having children and raising them up to be good people and everything, but has a very specific idea of what people they should be and doesn't know how to handle it when they're not those people.
Yeah. I feel like what we had said before and talked about before is that it seemed like she was like kind of giving Yuki away for her benefit. And like, I don't know if that's what comes across in the anime, which I think is interesting. It seems like what it seems like is that she feels like she was doing it for his benefit and just pushed all the other things aside, like as if like his status was the most important thing rather than anything else.
Yeah, I could see her like convincing herself of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, yeah. It's like even if like it was mostly for like her own status or whatever, she could be like, oh, but it's good for Yuki to be, you know, favored by the head of the household and all this stuff. So
yeah, totally true. But, I mean, it doesn't change what she did, but the implication might be. I feel like you could interpret what's implied a little bit differently in the anime. That's just sort of how I saw it this time, but. They do seem to have, like, she seems to have a, you know, high status in the family herself because of it. So we still get that. That still comes through.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of more spoilers, but the first thing that came to mind was, like, Hana living with Shisho after graduation.
Yeah.
Which is technically a spoiler, which is funny.
Yeah. It's like, well, she does work as his cook, so that's kind of a training to be a housewife.
Oh, that's a good point. Yes. I'm also like, I was reading that and I was like, can you train to be a housewife? Like, does that mean something? Like, I don't know.
Housewife classes.
Yeah. You know, like finishing school or whatever.
Yeah. One thing I thought of with another like this particular translation of the line is like I think in the manga Mayu said something like to Shigure about like you don't even like treat the people you seem to like as like people or whatever, but how she specifically says like I bet you're not even kind to the people you love or to the person you love or whatever, which is interesting in light of all the Shigure Aikido stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
Where like the whole thing he says is like the whole thing he says about like if she wants someone kind she can go somewhere else, basically.
Yep. Couldn't agree with you more. Yeah, we didn't talk about that in the non-spoilers. That's okay. They don't know. The non-spoiler people don't know yet. They don't know yet.
Yeah. Well, it just came off as like a, you know, condemnation of Shigure-ness.
Yeah, well.
If you don't know anything.
Yes.
About the Aikido stuff yet.
That's true. And you don't.
Which it is, but yeah.
Yeah. It's both, right? It's condemnation and accurate. Yes. It's like, it's I mean, also, like, Mayuko's speaking from the perspective of, like, the way that he treated her when they were dating, too, where he was, like, super cold. So, like, maybe she just thinks that he treats everybody like that, which he kind of does. Actually. Not necessarily Aikido, but, yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, I think, having the chapters together like this made me think of it for the first time, but how, like, we get, like, some of, like, Shigure's, like hints at Shigure's like worse Shigure-ness in that scene, but we also have some of his like kinder moments like in this scene and referenced in these episodes with the, you know, Toru remembering his whole like, you know, eat someone with your friends bit, and also the fact that, you know, he helped to make sure that Ayame would show up for Yuki's conference because he gave him the new date. Yes,
and I think like even though he was like he I don't think like his actual motivation was going to like sass Mayuko. I think that his motivation was to like probably not have Toru have to deal with her shitty family, but like so I feel like it was probably, you know, like me 50% of one, 50% the other or something. Like, I think he did want to make it not necessarily and have her not have to deal with that.
It's like I think he's being honest when he says like for me I'm handling her with a lot of care. Like I think like as far as Shigure goes, he does try to be pretty kind to Toru.
Yeah, I think he tries to be kind to Yuki and Kyo too. I mean, obviously he, like you said, he called Yuki's parents, called Ayame instead of Yuki's parents and stuff, and he asked if he knows about their relationship, so he did something about it. So he was doing the minimal thing that a nice person would do. Yes.
Yeah.
But then still took an opportunity to tease Mayako, which is great.
Yeah. Well, what's life if you can't torment your exes?
When the opportunity arises.
Yes.
Or just torment anyone who you have a close relationship with. I mean,
yeah, I do kind of appreciate the motivation that's like, this is a nice thing to do. Also, it'd be really fucking funny.
Yes. Yes. I don't disagree. See, guys, I can like Shigure, okay? It's possible. But yeah, it is good. And then they all have Somen together.
Yes.
Yeah, I like how they do take the time, like Takaya took the time to have Uo be like, that guy is sketchy, don't like trust him, and Toru's like, why? Yeah. And they're like, well, okay. It's like,
I love how they're like maybe she's like so nice and innocent, it'll at least make him feel guilty.
Yes.
Which it does. Yes. Kind of.
A little bit later he's like, oh yeah, I kind of felt bad for like getting you involved in all this shit, but whatever. Gotta do my own thing.
It's like in for a penny, in for a pound.
Yes. I do, the look on his face when Akito says that she stabbed Kureno is like, oh shit, like I wasn't expecting that,
Yeah.
At least that's how I chose to interpret it.
Yeah. He's like, things have gone off the rails.
Like, I'm gonna take responsibility for this one. Like,
yeah. It's like, did I do that?
Yeah. Oops. Okay. Any other spoilery things you want to talk about?
I'm like for this episode.
Okay. Next time it's called Ask Him For Me, which is Momo asking about Momichi. Yeah. Let's all cry a little bit.
Yeah. So it's going to be the Toru's Mission Impossible.
I'm so excited.
Break into the main house.
When I saw that, everybody is like, oh, Momichi. And I'm like, ooh, Toru's going to sneak into the main house,
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm excited for the Momichi and Momo stuff. That's another one of my favorite bits. So.
We get to hear Momichi play violin for the first time.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I just say that because I relate with all my weird musical instruments that I play.
Yeah.
So.
Is he playing the violin in the opening credit now?
Oh.
I thought I remembered seeing that, but I could be totally wrong.
I don't know. Let me check. We have the power of the internet.
Yeah.
I'm watching it. It's Shigure and Ayame. There's Haru and Momiji at school, and Rin in the fields, which is where she always is because she never goes home.
She just turns into a horse and sleeps in a barn.
The farmer comes out and is like, oh, I didn't realize I had a horse like this.
Yeah. Or you know what? It might have been something from the trailer that I'm thinking of.
It's not in this. Let me see if it's in the end. I don't remember what Momiji's thing was.
I don't think it's in the end, but... Yeah, I think I was thinking of something from the trailer for the second half.
You can see Rin's scar very prominently in the end credits too. Oh, Momiji's holding a bowl, not holding a violin. Okay, maybe it wasn't the trailer.
Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking of. Because I was like, oh.
Ooh, yay. Maybe he'll play... no, I don't know. Maybe they'll play Wish Upon a Star. Imagine getting the rights to pay that, or to play that.
It's like, what public domain song will you play?
Yeah. Insert name here, Toru says.
Yeah.
What public domain song would you like me to play for you?
Yeah.
There's a lot of public domain classical music, so,
Yeah. There's some gag in a TV show, I can't remember which one, but like, they're like, let's sing our public domain birthday song for He's a Jolly Good Fellow.
All right. Any other things you want to say about this episode or next episode? I'm excited.
Or the public domain.
Oh, they're gonna introduce Ren too. That means hopefully.
Yeah. Ooh. Creepy Ren bit.
Yeah.
That'll be exciting.
Well, I think it's extra creepy when Rin is sneaking around. It's not because like she just talks to Kureno, so.
She's a little creepy with like her like reaching her hands out
from the darkness within.
Yeah.
The main house, yes. And her voice that sounds like Akito. That's fun.
Yeah, should be an exciting episode. Lots of good stuff.
Think of all the spoilers we can spoil. So good.
No.
Man, and then Sword of Cinderella's gonna come up soon.
Oh, you're cute. Sorry, he's like sitting on my hand all hunkered down.
Oh, that's nice. Cute. He's famous. All the people want to know about him.
Yeah. It's like, here's an interview with Bowie.
And they will in our next episode, which comes out on Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, any other things you want to say for this time?
No.
Okay, good. Next time we'll talk about episode 16. I'm sure it will be sad. I mean,
yeah.
Krano's in it, so it'll be sad too, right?
Yeah. It's always sad.
It's always sad. Even in the credits, he's sad.
Yes.
All right, thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.